Michael. Other.
Hello.
Yeah, he got me good.
Mark,
Morning.
They just come through here and push everything to the side.
gonna be morning
It
soon.
really messes up your throat and everything for a while. And then they told me they were doing a disc replacement, and on a day of surgery, they're like, no, we're gonna do a fusion. And I wasn't very happy with that either. Yeah. I wouldn't have agreed if they would have been a fusion beforehand, but. Turn around, come home.
Yeah.
Should have. Being 16 weeks in a brace and that. They said up to a couple of years before he realized the full benefit, if any. It's not. Anyway,
Would you like to?
Yeah. I already let Julie know, but for the rest of you guys, when you guys go to approve the agenda, we forgot to change December to January. The dollar amount's right, just got changed December to January. That's a new one. You get my email, Gary?
Where did you send it?
I sent it to the entire clerk committee
Yeah.
a couple days ago.
it's coming through as spam.
I'm getting the same thing. It looks like a spam, and I think
I did it. I can double check.
I have like 30 of them from here.
it may have gone to your spam folder.
There's normally you guys are, right?
Yeah.
And that's a couple of days, I haven't seen it.
That's what it's gonna cost.
Yeah, you should be able to mark me as a safe sender.
Yeah, tapping into YouTube.
What's that? Yeah, and I even approved the first one you sent, like right away, and it's still showing.
This does give you the option to mark me as a safe sender.
And I think
Up here.
it doesn't like the imaging or something on your. And so I just, luckily it comes in my inbox, but it should.
Yeah, it's like suspicious.
Which message is it?
Safe.
He's talking about, you got the one for the meeting, who you gonna be in.
Okay.
First meeting, I saw that. He sent one to the recreation committee and nobody's responded from the public on the committee. And I think it's just showing up as spam on
I
everybody.
got the notice for the meeting. Yeah, for the meeting.
That came from the web.
This one show up?
But I didn't.
Yeah. Yours
For
is
mine?
fine. Yeah, yours came through. His,
I wonder if it's my signature.
I think it's a signature, that's what I'm saying, cause it flags your image as well. And I think, okay. The recording?
Yes.
Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and, it is 6 o'clock. We're gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order. We'll start out with the roll call.
Julie Saul.
Stephanie Baldwin.
Christopher Webb.
Robin Kissel.
And Michael Cornelian. At this time, does anybody need to make an announcement concerning conflicts of interest?
No, no conflict.
Okay, so we'll jump right into general public input. These are gonna be limited. The entire time is limited to 20 minutes. We have 5 minutes per speaker. Please state your name and address before speaking. In the event of any individual or organization that would like an agenda item for board consideration, please contact the staff Thursday before the meeting. The president will ask for public comment on specific items that appear on the agenda after board discussion, staff input, and before board action. In general, responses to the question regarding the agenda items can be more efficiently answered if provided in advance to staff via the district manager. So at this time, any public input in general?
This is Van Richardson with my wife Sherry. We wanted to discuss the drive.
Okay. Sir, can you say your name again and address, please?
Van Richardson, 179 Berry. It's been an extremely dry winter, and history shows us that the 416 fire and the Missionary Ridge fires both happened on years like this. So we wanted to just start discussion on, fire mitigation, any other things that need to be talked about for fighting a fire. There should be lessons learned from what happened in California. So is there all the fire hydrants working? How about the amount of water in each of the tanks? Are those to capacity? I'd like to bring up those topics as well as fire mitigation on individual homeowners' lots.
Or lack of.
Or lack of, yes.
Do you want to?
Well, as far as fire mitigation on private property, there's not much Forest Lakes can do about that. We do have a couple fire mitigation projects that the district is pursuing. Grassy Mountain Projects is gonna do a lot of thinning out and clearing out above units 1, 2, and 3. And then I forget what they're called. There's another company that's gonna do biological fire mitigation where the fire department already came in and did a bunch of thinning where our evacuation road is. So they're gonna do some more back there. As far as the fire hydrants and our tanks, they're functioning correctly. The big problem LA is having is the demand on the system. They're using more water than they can keep in production.
As far as the fire hydrants, we know the one at Berry and Timber is, or I'm sorry, Elk is out of order. There's a little sign on it. The thing is kind of bent over.
It's been like that for probably a year, maybe longer.
That's incorrect. It happened this winter. We did take that one out of service this winter because somebody slid into it and broke it.
Are there other ones in the area that can cover down for that one?
Yeah,
At
there's
this
one at
time?
the next intersection up and one at the next intersection down.
Yeah, currently the hydrants that we have out of service now have one within 600 feet in either direction.
Cause that was the one you were talking about maybe getting rid of because it gets hit all the time or.
Not get rid of, talking about pushing it
Or
back.
pushing it back, sorry.
This 8 feet back. In hopes that people.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, for Van, I don't know if you've been to many of the, or been to, listened in on many of the board meetings, but this is something that seems like we talk about pretty much, almost seems like every meeting we're talking about fire mitigation. And it feels like we're being proactive. I mean, the fire department's here for a lot of the meetings, or they're on Zoom with us. What is it, Valdez? That's
Paul Valdez.
Paul Valdez. He's around. I mean, the chief's here. Just trying to ease your mind a little bit. I feel like we are like pretty proactive with dealing with mitigation. Mitigation.
And not to cut you off, sorry. I don't know if you've been out of the trash site and you saw those generators sitting there.
Yeah, we saw those.
generators?
Those are gonna be set at our tank site for backup power, so we have the ability to move water in event of a power outage. You know, if we do get a fire and it takes down some power lines, we'll at least be able to keep our pump stations and water flowing up and down the mountain.
Okay,
Oh.
I have a question for you. You said there's not much we can do about the lots since it's private property.
Yep.
There's a lot of vacant lots where people don't even see the condition of their lots. What about letters going out to these homeowners or landowners telling them that they need to keep their lots mitigated?
You want me? So I don't have a problem with sending letters, and I feel like the district has been very upfront with fire mitigation. We've had speakers from various companies that work here in the neighborhood or live here in the neighborhood that have addressed concerns with fire mitigation. As a resident, it really is private property. We don't have a POA or an HOA to enforce. We don't have teeth that go along with making some of these rules. So I feel like we can continue to send out information. We can continue to connect the residents with the companies that do fire mitigation. Last spring, we also had fire mitigation where personal properties could collect debris, set it alongside the road, and be collected by the company that we're working with. And I foresee that in the future as well. And that was an early spring project, if I'm not mistaken.
Is it possible to send people that are not here, part-time residents, as he mentioned, to have a letter, or even to everybody? I mean, is that real costly? It might not be a bad idea.
I mean, it would be the postage that would be the most expensive, but I mean, if that's an expense that
Yeah.
the board is willing to incur, then
Is that like $300 or something like that?
it is, it's normal postage, Julie.
Yeah.
69 cents, I think, is what we pay.
Yeah.
Because we have an inundation.
700 or something.
What about the utility bills that go out to all of the residents? Even those vacant properties, they have to pay some, don't they?
Yes, ma'am, that is correct. And we could totally do that. We could start with putting something on the bill. And then go from there.
And the messaging system that's already established as well.
Right, that too.
But it would be a small cost to us to mail that to everyone, because not everybody's on the messaging system, not everybody reads their bill. A lot of people have them just automatically pay, they don't even look at them. So it would be a good idea to try and get that information out to everyone, because it is going to be a very dry season.
It is, but you can't tell somebody what they can do on their property.
No, it's a recommendation. It's fire mitigation information. And why? Because if somebody's living in some other state and they own property here, they may not think about fire mitigation. You know, hey, I have property, yay, it's in the mountains and they may not think twice about it.
Yeah.
So it's just a recommendation to the residents.
Yeah, we can totally work on something like that.
And just Corey, from residential standpoint, just continue to do what you're doing. When you're having these conversations with the fire chief. Paul is not the fire chief, right?
Paul is in charge of wildland.
Okay. When you're having those conversations, continue to share.
I shouldn't say wildland fire. He's in charge for Upper Pine for the wildland fire mitigation.
Okay.
The training that we had down here.
The wildfire fairs.
Oh, yeah.
We're
That's
gonna
why-
do that.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. Maybe that's something we could include in
I
the
think
letter.
too.
Were you aware of that training last summer, Dan? That fire mitigation class we had down here in the soccer field?
No, sorry, we weren't here full-time last summer.
No, that's fine. I was just wondering. And they already just said that they're planning on doing it again this year, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that's a good opportunity for local firefighters, representatives, community members, companies that do this to get in contact with public, show them what they do. And, you know, it really kind of leads everybody in the right direction.
Right, and do they come out to individuals' properties and do an assessment? They volunteer to do things like that?
Yes.
They will come out. I don't know if, they did a few of them for free last year on a grant that they secured. I don't know if that that the fire department still got that grant going or not. I will
Yeah, you
check
could
with Paul.
sign up and they would come to your property and give you like an evaluation, recommendations.
Go ahead.
Firewise. Also has, I mean, they have chippers or other things like that, but they will do a free with grant money. Assessment of the thing, and then if you mitigate, and also as an incentive, even though we've said it over and over and over again, the insurance, people are being denied insurance. Well, if your area is mitigated, but your neighbors aren't, that also plays a part because that's how it traps. So as an extra incentive, that might be something you might want to mention to people in a letter nicely, but to let them know. But Firewise is the other, and they can contact him. There's a new guy though, I don't know what his name is.
She said Firewise. Dan, did you hear that?
It was a little hard to hear.
Go ahead.
So they got a Firewise is another program too that will come out, do consultation and potentially do some free mitigation around your property based on what kind of grants they have.
Okay. I'm not personally looking for mitigation on my property. It's already pretty well mitigated, but that's good information to send out to other people.
Should we tell them that we came by today?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Jim Moore, 700 Forest Lakes Drive. We back up to Service Road. I've mitigated my property, but there is an embankment above the parking area that has a fair amount of scrub oak, I think it's called, 6 to 8 feet high, kind of tinder. Is there any problem with me going onto property that's presumably the district's and clearing out some of that scrub oak?
Isn't it a liability issue?
I mean, that would be a liability issue. But I'd have to look at the map and see where the property line was, Jim. Be honest with you.
Well, no rush on this. I'm 76, so I'm not standing here with a chainsaw in hand, but I have done some work beyond my fence line, which is still on the property, but there are about, say, 20 trees that have trunks that go from forearm size down. Height goes from about 8 feet down to knee high. And this stuff is a liability. I have both a chainsaw and a steel trimmer that has a metal blade on it, and I could level that area quite handily, and then bring the material down to the parking spot, pick it up with my truck and bring it over to the burn site.
I got a quote from CCFM last year, after $2,200 to do that down there. Also, just throw that out there.
Don't worry about it, Jim. I think we have a quote to get that taken care of. I just learned.
Oh, you do? Okay, well, if it's open to me doing it, I'm willing to do it, and you can get back to me at your leisure. I'm not about to do it right away, but should you want me to go ahead with that. I have neighbors who would help me haul it and stuff, so we could knock this out in an afternoon.
Myself or Daryl, my director of roads, who's kind of runs CCFM around on our stuff, will reach out to you this week and figure out who's gonna do what.
All right, well, I think you have my contact information on my self nomination, so you can reach out to me at your leisure. Thank you.
And then Rick.
Rick Burr.
Good evening. Rick Brydom, 33 Spruce Way. I have a question about the proposed entrance and exit down at 501. And I'm quite confused about the drawing that has been posted a number of places. And my worry is that, again, it's very confusing. Now, when it gets dark and the snow shows up and all that kind of stuff, and visitors coming and delivery trucks, how are they going to understand to be in the right lane and the left lane and not go head on into somebody else? It just seems very, very confusing as far as getting people to follow those directions who don't know them. And I'm wondering why it can't be one way all the way up to where the bus stop is, and one way the other direction. Then all you really need is some do not enter signs and maybe an arrow saying exit this way and exit that way.
What we had talked about was the crossover would be at the bus stop. So it would be one way all the way up to the bus stop and one way from the bus stop all the way back out to 501.
And currently the one that you're looking at now was just a conceptual plan that was put together with me and the director of transportation for the school district, because they kind of want to stay away from the bus stop unless we give them some type of a barrier for the increased amount of traffic that'll be going through there. So that plan you see online, it's not set in stone. It could either happen at that crossover or it's going to happen at the bus stop, depending on what our traffic engineer comes back with and what our traffic engineer recommends.
Then my question, I guess, is let's say that the school district doesn't go for having the crossover up there. How is the signage going to be done for people coming in? Again, visitors, delivery drivers, in the dark, in the snow. How in the world are people going to know, oh, you can go one way, oops, now you got to jump over to this side?
Well, you're gonna have to, like anywhere else, rely on them to be able to read a sign. We're gonna have to put a bunch of signage out. It's not gonna be a change that happens overnight. It's gonna be a learning curve, and there's gonna be a lot of notifications, a lot of new traffic signs with the flags and the flashy lights, so it catches people's attention.
And I think the county said they were gonna have like a board, right? They were gonna let us.
The county's gonna let us borrow some VMS boards, so is town of Bayfield.
Yeah. And law enforcement
And
participation
we'll
as
have law
well.
enforcement participation as well.
So that was what you're seeing that map. It was just one idea, one
Okay.
concept.
All right.
Nothing's been finalized, as Corey has put out multiple times. And again, there's different points of crossover. We're just waiting for
The traffic engineer.
traffic engineer to come back. So
Okay. So what is the
And
possible
really,
forecast for I mean, we're talking a year, we're talking months, we're talking whatever to get a final decision?
well, once we get the final decision, we're looking at getting started mid to late July and having the paving portion done by the end of July, middle of August.
Okay.
So that's kind of the timeline we're looking at, but
Do residents still have input into what happens, or is it just deciding this or that? Are there only 3 or 4 possibilities besides the one that's online?
like, until everything's finalized, it's still open for cancellation, approval,
alteration.
alteration. Yeah, I mean, we're we chose to move forward as a board based on the recommendations of that survey. The original survey that was done by Forest Lakes. And upon receiving further information, you know, like I said, it could be approved, disapproved, altered.
And the county's the one that wants that traffic direction switched.
Yes.
Yeah, they're the driver.
So they're the ones that came to us to switch it.
All right. Well, again, to me, that one just seems the most complex of everything, but I understand that there you have to give different possibilities, but I know everything has a pro and con, but I just can't see that working.
That
Again,
traffic pattern,
in the dark and with the snow, if you miss one sign, all of a sudden you're going down, you know, you're going down the road and somebody comes right in the lane because they think, oh, it's one way, or you're
That-
not expecting somebody.
that traffic pattern's gonna be the same even if you move it up to the bus stop. Minus the one turn to go up Mason.
Eventually it'll be a shared road at some point, whether it's closer to 501 or further away. Eventually, there's gonna be a crossover and a shared road.
Right.
Sure. And everything. Appropriate for people that don't. It's definitely not gonna be just, you know, an entrance to come in with no signage.
Right, no, I
Corey's
understand
working-
that.
Yeah, he's working on having all that.
And there have to be do not enter signs and the like, and I understand all of that, but it just, again, it seems like having a crossover up higher is more of just turn left here, because if you already turn, for example, if you want to go up Forest Lakes Drive up to Spruce where we live, you have to turn left way before you want to get over the left lane first and then get up and then make another left, you know, to get onto Forest Lakes Drive up the hill. So anyway,
We're not gonna force every car to turn left there that wants to get on the crossover. You'll be able to stay in that right hand lane and go up to the bus stop and make that turn there. We're not closing down the bus stop crossover by no means.
But I understand Rick's concern because I was there the other day and there were like 7 cars and a bus coming in all at the same time. And if a car was going to turn left right there, 100 feet in, it would have caused traffic problems. There's just no way to have that turn right there. It would back up. And you may have a car trying to turn and then, cars stopping and then cars coming up off 501.
Yeah,
To
that's
me-
why it's going to a traffic engineer because it's.
And I would say that's no different than anything or in any residential setting. When there are bus stops, it's always controlled and and that was one of my initial concerns as well, was traffic pattern right there. But for the safety of the kids, if that's where the crossover is at the bus stop eventually, then they're just gonna have to wait for the safety of the kids, just like everywhere else. Whether it's by Aceto, Bayfield, cars are gonna have to stop. And so I agree. I mean, I agree. It was one of my concerns as well.
okay, again, it seems like, I know they posted a few places, so I was just trying to get more information and, and hope that there are still plans for input in case we get more than one choice. So anyway, thank you, that answered my questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Stay posted and when we get anything back, we'll discuss it at one of the next meetings. So we appreciate it.
I appreciate that. I'm gonna hang out for a while.
All right. Any other public comments or
Yes,
general discussion?
I have a quick question. Patrick Yankee, 986 Alpine Forest Drive. Obviously, fires and the fire plan is of great interest to everyone. I wanted to ask for an update on 2 of the items that were mentioned in the minutes from last meeting. One was about there was an old fire hydrant near the community center that was going to be replaced in the springtime, but there were some questions about whether it was just too old to be replaced. will, so we're right next to the community center. So is there any update about what's going to go on with that hydrant? And then a second is just a general question about the generator backup plan. Do I understand correctly that in the event of a general power outage, say there's a regional fire, if the electric is out and the generators are not functioning, there would be no water pressure in forest lakes, or there would be pressure until the holding tanks run dry, or what happens in the event of if the generators can't operate during a wildfire?
We have a finite amount of water. This is Mark, the director of water and wastewater, by the way. We have a finite amount of water in those tanks. And if we can't move water to them, then what you said would be true. Once the water's out of the tank, it's gone. The whole idea of having those generators there is to function when we don't have power. And that could be affected also by, if there was a fire, did it affect the generator or not? We may not be able to get to them to fuel them if there's a curtain of fire there that we can't get through. So there's all kinds of scenarios, but the idea is if we can move water and there's a power outage, then we can keep our tanks topped off. And that's the whole idea of that. With regards to the hydrant, I think you may be referring to what we call a steamer, which was an old way of getting water out of our system that may have gotten hit by somebody doing donuts and whatnot in the community center parking lot. That one probably is not likely to be replaced because it wasn't a functioning fire hydrant to begin with. It was what you would call an early 70s attempt at a fire hydrant.
And to go off that, not to cut you off, Mark, in the parking lot of the community center down to the bottom, there is a fully functional fire hydrant right there.
Okay, I guess the note just said that there might be something about the general infrastructure nearby, but that's all you're saying, that whatever these old pipes were running to the community center are part of that, and that wouldn't impact the rest of Forest Lakes.
No, sir. That one got damaged, and it's not likely that we're gonna put something there because it wasn't what we would consider a fire hydrant in today's world.
Right. Okay. In general, then the last thing I wanted to ask about was the notification procedure. Say, yes, I'll stand in as a general representative for the person who has property in Forest Lakes but isn't there most of the time. And I think we have had a lot of loose brush removed from the property already, but we do plan to keep an eye on it. What is the notification procedure? Just since you can't send me a letter to the address there because there's no mailbox. Is there an email list or a phone list? Will say if there's something is seen to be encroaching on Forest Lakes, how would we get notified about that?
Have you signed up for the notifications via our website?
I thought I did, but I'll have to double check. Yeah. Okay. So there is some notification list to sign up for.
And then La Plata County has what's called a code red.
Okay.
So when the county issues out like a evacuation alert or any type of alert, if you're within that area that they highlight on their map, you'll get a notification from code red. That'll tell you, hey, you need to evacuate, or hey, shelter in place, or whatever the emergency may be.
So just go to our website at Forest Lakes and go to the county website and register for both of those notification systems. And those are what we use. We're really trying to highlight those as a community as a way to just be able to email you or text you and get you notified as soon as possible for anything, whether it's water shut off, whether it's an emergency like Corey was talking about. That's what those notification systems are for.
Okay, great. I'll certainly double check that I'm signed up for those. Is there anyone around who remembers the 2002 fire? Was Forest
On-
Lakes alerted during that fire, or was it?
It burned up to the neighborhood, basically.
Forest Lake was evacuated, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
evacuated.
And we all got reverse 911.
Okay.
But you know what we have,
Reverse
speaking of
911,
cold red,
where
probably
instead
put
of
like a
you
link to
dialing
that on the
911,
website.
Thank you, Patrick.
Yeah, thanks for your help.
We're coming up on time here. Anybody else have quick public comment in general? All right. Good. All right, so I need approval for the.
This is Julie. I make a motion to approve the agenda for tonight.
With
Oh, with the change on number 3, financial action A. From December to January, it was just the wrong month listed in there.
This is Stephanie, I'll second the motion. Move the minutes for tonight with the change to 3A.
Okay, thank you. All right, we're gonna go on to approval of minutes and department reports. I need a motion on previous month's minutes.
This is Stephanie, I'll make a motion to approve last month's meeting minutes.
This is Julie, I second that.
All right, and now we'll roll into the district manager report.
Okay, so we are 100% migrated over to the new email platform. We're on the new server. Apparently we're having some email issues with my signature, it sounds like. So,
Don't we need a all vote for the minutes?
how did we miss that?
We moved on,
Oh,
sorry.
Oh, yeah, geez.
all right, sorry about that. That was my fault. So let's return to the agenda items. We had a motion from Julie, Stephanie seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Robin, thank you. Going on to the previous minutes, Stephanie made a motion, Julie seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you, Robin. Sorry about that, everybody. Corey, back to you. Thanks for catching
That
up.
was Gail.
That was Gil.
Yeah, thank you.
Our park committee, the people that were supposed to be giving me the quote to apply for the grant, they stopped responding to me, so we missed the first deadline on the Go Code grant. So I'm trying to reconvene with the park committee, and I think we're just gonna take on doing the park master plan / conceptual plan ourselves.
Okay.
I'll have more once I get my email sorted out and figure out why the park committee's not getting my email.
Is that being affected by the executive order at all, the grant?
Not GoCo. GoCo is funded strictly from Colorado Lottery. It's not federal funding. Well, I mean, I guess it kind of is, but it's lottery money. So I don't believe GoCo is affected,
Okay.
but I'm still going through that 52-page list of all the grants and stuff that are being affected. The group that broke into the community center, we got awarded 5 hours of community service. So they accomplished that last Friday. And we got all the glass and trash and vacuumed up the carpet the best they could. And looking fairly decent in there.
Good.
Well, better than it did. And then the salary survey, I got the quote back, came in at 9,340. If that's something you guys want me to proceed with, I will acquire 2 more quotes. Or if you want me to scratch it because it is not a budgeted expense for this year. Comparing what our benefits and our wages are to organizations similar to our size. And then they were gonna also include the immediate surroundings, so Bayfield, Edgemont, Pagosa, Mancus, Durango,
Similar size, similar.
similar size, and then the immediate surrounding area.
Did we, correct me if I'm wrong, did we do one just with Guy? So it was,
He did kind of an internal quick snapshot. These people would actually go out and seek organizations that are similar to our size, so they'd be comparing us to people on the Front Range, Utah.
okay.
My opinion is, I don't think we need that. I think we need closer in proximity here, and Guy did go out and do that. I think we could tag along with some of that, maybe spend several months, having you look and see, because I think you also looked at something too with Bayfield, Durango,
I looked at benefits.
and benefits, right?
The
And I
health
think we could
insurance
do that
benefits.
just within our surrounding area, because I don't think that it really should affect us and spend $10,000 to have them go look at all these other cities, in my opinion.
Well, they wouldn't be looking, when they're looking at like the Front Range, it would be an organization that is very similar to our size.
Right.
Cost of living, cost.
If we do our immediate area, surrounding area, Bayfield, Durango, even Edgemont, they're quite a bit bigger than we are, so it's not really comparing apples to apples, we're comparing apples to oranges. If we do it that way. I mean, I could spend time and look for communities our size. Or we don't even have to do it this year, and then we can hold off on the salary survey. It's not necessary, but I do feel like some of our employees in positions are underpaid for what we have
What
around
it
here.
costs them to get 2 more estimates. You referenced that in your.
Just me reaching out to another company.
I think that's the investment. Look at if it's something to proceed with. If you're up for the.
I'm fine doing that.
Where we stand with everything. I mean, everything that works here, what other companies pay or districts, right? I mean,
Yeah, but then we're comparing apples to oranges. So like Daryl came from the oil field, they pay a pretty penny.
yeah, but I'm just saying, don't we know what like the other districts pay? Like,
Do I know what our industry should be paying? Yes, but I come from bigger municipalities, so I'm not really in tune with what smaller districts should be making.
And we know we.
And I'm not saying I can't find
ours more, right? We all know.
Well, I don't want, not necessarily more, but I want to be on the same skill.
Yeah.
So we're not losing. We don't become a training ground. They get their foot in the door and then they go to Durango or they go to Edgemont or they go to Bayfield or the Tribe or Pagosa.
Which I think we all know that. And people.
So
We don't lose. Are you?
I mean, I can reach out and get 2 more quotes. I mean, this isn't a necessity that this has to happen this year by no means.
Yeah, can you give us a little detail about what not only salaries, but communities that include like what is your taxes? What kind of money do we get from that? Do they look at all that stuff?
So in the packet, you should see what they're proposing to do.
I think it
So-
would be a good idea for us to be able to compare the quotes, and we can't do it this year because it's already gone through budget. It would have to be next year, but it would give us an idea of what, if we decide to do it, what we would need to budget next
Okay.
year.
So I might add something.
The rate study doesn't always just revolve most
This-
around salaries. It also puts your water and your sewer rates for your fund into a position where you can take on debt.
We're talking about two different. Salary survey and a rate survey are two different things.
Okay.
Good idea.
I mean,
We're looking at doing a rate survey this year. I got one quote and wait for two more. The salary survey is just comparing employee wages with other employees' wages
right.
through other organizations.
Seem pretty close to the same population. I mean, you keep saying, I keep hearing or a small municipality, but municipality, we're the largest in the Southwest.
Right.
That's why we're small though.
So,
And
yes, but.
we don't get any government funding. Where Bayfield is
No.
subsidized.
We get government funding.
get
We don't get sales tax.
Sales tax.
We don't have sales tax. So yes. We are about the same population as Bayfield, but they have other revenue streams.
Just the question, have you looked at other ways of doing the salary to retain employees like longevity, bonuses and things like that? And and also stacking their insurance or things like that where the prices are to get them to the point that there's a level where they're considered equitable to others similar.
So we did do our health insurance to make it more affordable for the employees. And we do have a longevity program in place currently. So
And what's the like, what are the tiers for the longevity?
It's $200 a year. Paid out, or $100 a year, correct?
it's $100 a year
Paid out at the 5-year mark.
at the 5-year mark.
Yeah.
You have
$100
anything in Roger?
bonus.
There's different ways to stack it.
So
No, yeah. I'll give you.
if you're here at 5 years, you get $100 per year that you were here at the 5-year mark. And then again, it's paid out at 10 years. If you were here another 5 years, you get a $500 bonus for those 5 years that you were here.
Okay.
So $100 a year paid out at the 5-year marks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Robin, do you have anything?
No, mostly I can hear you, but it is a little broken at times, but I'm getting the gist of it. Thank you.
And then the last thing I'll touch on is we have 1.5 million in the Colorado Trust. For the month of January, we're just shy of 6,000 in interest, and in community banks, we have $93,000.
So the 162 there at the bottom where he's got it
I'm sorry.
on there, is changed because, things have come in and all that stuff. So this was out, it was 162.
Okay, thank you. I was gonna ask.
Same with the 6,000. It's 5,000 something now, right?
Yeah.
5 what?
That's $5,847.53.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
I do have a question.
You didn't do
Well,
the water authority.
Yeah, that was what I was gonna ask. We're gonna get into that later for discussion, or do you wanna talk about it now?
I mean, I can talk about it if you want. It's just information.
Yeah.
So every 3 years, the Southern New Tribe go through the process of revamping their treatment process because they've been what's the word I'm looking for? Their own water authority. So they report to the EPA. They have nothing to do with the state. And so what that means for us is we're upstream. We discharge upstream of them. So they have the potential of increasing our discharge limits at our sewer lagoons. They introduced 2 new things that they want to start testing for in their water, which could bleed off into us having to do some extra testing on our end. The two microorganism is one's a microcystin, and I'm not even gonna attempt that, cylindrosporosum.
I'll go with that.
Is that not something that we already test for, or?
No, it's not something we test for, and the tribe has been working with the EPA, and they identified these two microorganisms as being dangerous to livestock, wildlife, and potentially pets and humans. So if the tribe mandates it to the state, then the state will have to enforce it on our discharge permit. Which just means we gotta do more tests.
So we'd have to.
Either possible treatment, depending on how it goes. So that it could have wide reaching ramifications for anybody that's upstream of their water source, but currently they're looking at mostly everything's gonna happen within their borders as a sovereign nation.
I mean, we gotta look on the.
Gray whether they can usurp the state limits to me. Personally, I don't know if I see that happening or not.
Yeah.
And that's why we got the notification for the law firm, because they could set limits.
Lucky for us, Paul is friend with Mr. Craig.
Okay.
And Craig sent this to Paul and Paul sent it to me. That's how we found out about it.
Okay.
And then attached to behind my report, we kind of hopped on the bandwagon with them and like, yeah, you need to, inform us of this stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So it seems like it's a pretty standard thing.
What they're doing now is pretty standard. The only question at hand is whether or not we're gonna have to test or treat for more items
Based on their.
based on the tribe.
On their limits, yeah. If their limits become
More stringent.
than those limits or the state of Colorado's, it's unclear whether or not they can enforce that on us or not. There might be some challenges that take place.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So instead of answering to the state like we are currently,
Stricter and stricter.
we're going right to the EPA and to the tribe.
Well, we'll still answer to the state.
Well, yeah.
We won't ever have to answer to the tribe unless we have a major incident down here. But the tribe will get up in arms with the state, and then the state will be.
Makes sense.
Just more reason to keep moving forward on our upgrading our stuff in the future.
Any more questions for me?
No, thank you.
We will go on to the admin report.
Okay, so we continue some of our data from the Google Drive to the server. We made really good headway on that. I changed the website to reflect the new emails that we have in internally. We put out the call for nominations, and it also ran in Sunday's paper. So that those deadlines have all been met. Barb completed a HIPAA training. I'm still working on the HIPAA training. Minutes were transcribed. The biggest thing this month is we completed an intent to redeem overbid funds from the county for a property that we have a lien on. We had no clue that this was even a process that we could do to collect funds that we have liens on. For whatever reason, the lady at the county reached out to us and was asking some information. So that led Barb and I to ask some questions. And she was like, well, yeah, you can request the overbid funds because it went to a treasury's sale. And we were like, well, what's this? We had no clue. So she drew up a form, had her attorney look over it. The attorney and the county are good with us submitting these forms. She kind of walked us through the process of doing that. So Barb and I will make it part of our regular process. They have to notify us when we have a lien against a property that's going to a treasury sale. And that will initiate Barb and I keeping up of when it sells and submitting paperwork to know if there's overbid funds. It doesn't guarantee that we collect all of our money, but we'll at least recoup some of our money if there's these overbid funds. And like I said, we had no clue that this was even a process. It was just kind of happenstance that it fell in our lap. And there was finally someone there that was like, hey, did you know you could do this? So we did the first one and we're waiting to hear back on how we get our funds, how much of the funds. I'll let y'all know. Other than that, it was a pretty standard month. We did have a couple of increases in notification subscribers on the website. We went from 135 to 155. So that was a big jump. And we're sending out less and less paper bills every month. More and more people are going to the paperless option. So that's nice as well.
Were you able to get with Civic Plus to find out why their logo is showing up when we give a link out instead of having our Forest Lakes logo?
It's just part of their system. It actually uses our website is built by them, and it's just that's how
It
they're.
shouldn't be like that though. If we're putting a link out there and it's our website, Forest Lakes pays, it should say like Civic Plus.
But it's their notification system. The notification system isn't Forest Lakes. It's
Well, this
Civic
is like
Plus.
Put out a link Facebook. I put out a link Facebook, and it's a big CP. Not
Yes.
Forest Lakes. It used to be Forest Lakes.
If you share the notification link, it's always going to be the Civic Plus because it's their notification platform. You have to share it directly from the website, not the notification that you receive.
Right. So this is for the nomination link, not the notification, not the link on the website.
Okay.
Is coming across as CP rather than Forest Lake.
Yeah, because I copied the link directly off the website.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you as a poster can select remove preview as well. So you sharing that link, and both of you, it came up as CP. When you post, you can go into and remove preview, and it will remove that CP. I don't know if you know that. It'll just give you that link, but down below.
Oh.
And it's just like if you shared a YouTube video, you can choose to remove that preview screenshot. That's not answering your question on how to get Forest Lakes there. It would remove that CP though.
I would check in with them again and explain to them that it's not just links that we're not sharing links from notifications. It's all links in general are showing up with the Civic Plus
from the website.
Yeah. Okay. I will touch base with them again. But that was the answer that they gave me, that if you share a link that was a notification, then it's gonna show Civic Plus because we use their platform to push our notifications.
I wonder if that's the part of the problem is with pushing out notifications, is swapping it out.
Yeah, I wonder. Maybe so. But I'll touch base with this.
I can't remember if you want to look in the post or if you go back and click that. At some point, you can remove it. And it would just show up.
I was just wondering if people are even gonna be looking at it like these some kind of spam that somebody's putting out there instead of a Forest Lake branded link. Okay.
Any other questions for me?
No, thank you.
Uh-huh.
We are moving on to water and wastewater.
As Shauna mentioned, we've all been moving stuff from our old database to the new database. And I'd say I'm probably 75% there right now, maybe. From what I've done. We hired an operator. Started there in January and I'll speak up. We've been doing quite a bit of on-the-job training with him. He's pretty sharp. I'm pretty happy with the way things are going right now between him and I. As everybody's aware, we had some cold weather recently. We did experience a couple frozen services. They ended up being primarily on the resident side of the meter. So I'm not sure the resolution of that, but generally they call a plumber and they'll try to cut out the frozen section and replace that. We did send out, hey, drip your faucets when it's this cold kind of information. I don't know if everybody got it or not. Let's see here. Been making a few trips to Grand Junction Pipe trying to get our allotment of meter and meter pits for this year. It would appear that there is some supply chain problems happening. We're hopefully going to get our stuff in mid-March, but I'm not going to swear to it. It moves around. The brass and stuff, I believe, is what the holdup is. So there's a potential crunch with that kind of stuff happening, not just for us, but for everybody else that's looking to get their stuff for the year. So that's out there. Let's see here. One of the things that we did accomplish this last month was revamping the service agreement. Everybody here, Corey and Shauna and Daryl and myself, been working on that a while. You guys might actually approve or disapprove it tonight, I think.
Yep, that's something.
So that's something that's taken a while to get done. And then that's mostly what I have, unless you guys have a question for me.
I don't. What was the first agreement?
It was right after your
Right after Trash Panda's contract.
Rules. They don't have it.
yeah.
It goes to the rules and regs.
I got it right here. I know you're just getting it. But
Yeah, I didn't get it in.
No,
Nope, that's rules and regs.
oh no, I didn't have
No, it was
Well, if anybody can throw a wrench in the meeting, it's me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Was it your revised one?
There was some.
The second one?
There was some verbiage in it that we were unhappy with, called substantially filth, whatever that means.
Right. Yeah. How many pages is it?
it's a page.
A page.
A page.
It's
I was gonna say we could table it if it's a lot of pages, but what a page we could do tonight.
Yeah, it's kind of,
It's important to get it done.
yeah. Especially just because we're coming to that season where people are starting to pay tax and
Yeah.
things like that. None of the fees changed associated with it, obviously, because we would have to have a public hearing for those sorts of things. The biggest change in the service agreement was, did it not make it to the packet?
No.
Here's your,
Yeah,
you got that, and then it goes right, like she said, do it online.
go straight to. So some of the biggest changes while Corey's looking for it is It took out that substantially built being what decides whether they get water or sewer. And we replaced it, or what we're hoping to replace it with, is it being more about the driveway access to the property, in that road envelope, that from our right of way to their property, because that's what we really care about. We don't care if they're substantially built or not. What affects us is, do they have that approved driveway access? Do they have a culvert? Did they meet the grade? Is the water gonna flow properly through their culvert? Those are the sorts of things that affect the community as a whole. If road crew is constantly having to repair a road because your culvert's not right, that affects everybody, not just you. So that's really the way that we moved with the service agreement, is water and sewer services being conditional on, have you met with us? Do you have a county permit? Did we sign off on your permit? Did you have a final inspection? Before we'll even collect money to go to the next step.
So correct me if I'm wrong though, but that would have affected a certain group of people though, during the time frame of substantially built.
Yes, yes,
To a large financial burden.
yes.
And correct me if I'm wrong, that we should probably put this on the meeting for next month. If we're not looking at a reduction in the fees for water tap, then why are we placing the burden of cost on the land property homeowner now without adjusting that tap fee? So I feel like that's probably something we do need to talk about.
The tap fee really only covering the materials. It's not covering the cost of our guys out there digging.
But they're
The
not
backfill.
anymore. You
No.
said contractors are doing it now. Yeah, that's the homeowner's expense.
Yes.
So I agree that we as a community should be charging enough, to cover Mark, his site visits, the equipment that Mark installs or his crew. But the cost of the complete tap fee I don't feel should remain the same. If we're pushing that onto a contractor and the homeowner.
The tap fee cost right now is only covering the meter, the pipe. That doesn't even include what it takes for them.
It's
To
basically
be there.
materials, is what you're saying.
It just pays for the material.
And what's the tap fee right now?
8,500 for water is the tap fee.
So
And that also includes the plant investment fee, so we're looking at it different. The tap fee is our plant investment fee. That $8,500 goes into a bank account for future upgrades of the water and sewer. The service connection fee is what's considered the tap fee.
1,550.
okay. So right now, as it sat before, the homeowners were paying 8,500 to get connected, and
The 8,500 is what's considered a plant investment fee.
okay, so
The wording is
but that included everything that you're talking about, right?
no. That 8,500 goes for future development of the water plant or said sewer plant. That 1,500, the connection fee, is what's covering the parks.
Hit the meter, all of that stuff.
They're two separate fees.
Okay, but correct me if I'm wrong, some of what we were doing prior to last month's meeting was covered under that fee, correct? That we're now pushing onto the new homeowner and builder.
No,
You said from,
the 1,500, the service
Yeah.
connection fee, that is covering the cost of the material to do the tap. The $8,500 has nothing to do with the tap. That is called a plant investment fee that goes towards upgrading the water plant or upgrading the sewer plant as more people come online. We're supposed to take that $8,500 and stick it in a bank account and save it for, well, we need to install new PRV because we're doing this.
Did we just start doing that, or, cause didn't it used to go to the general fund or something? Or where might it go on? I thought it was go into the general fund, the tap fees, like
Well,
for a guy can.
That was the whole mix up that we went to return. You're right in associating the two, but that was corrected when we returned that money from the enterprise fund back to the general fund.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying, and I must be the only one that. There was more cost put onto the homeowner while Mark was doing, or his crew was doing the majority of the work when it came from the tap to digging the lines, correct?
And yes,
So now we're just not changing the price, but putting more expense on the homeowner.
the burden should be on the homeowner, not the district.
Yeah, no, I agree, but we're not changing the price
We're not changing the price.
to return some of that money to the homeowner to process. Like to get connected.
No.
So we're putting more on them, but we're still charging them the same amount when we were taking on more of that.
Were we just eating the cost of them doing the work before?
Yes.
Yes.
So essentially their tap fee is the same because they're still paying for the materials. We're just not eating the cost of having our guys do the work. They have to hire somebody to do the work.
Oh, for sure. I get that.
And the other thing you gotta keep in mind too, he's a 3-man crew, currently a 2-man crew.
Oh, I agree with the change.
We get 11, 13 taps.
Yeah.
He can't go and do the testing in his everyday of the water and the sewer.
And you still gotta go hook them up.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
We're still,
we actually.
it's probably still costing us more than we're getting in the long run
Yeah,
from the fees.
as the rates, this rate adjustment. Rate investigation might be surprising.
It might show that other communities are charging more. Is that what you're?
Oh, absolutely.
To
They're
pay
charging.
for what we have to pay for in an enterprise fund. So we can give those sorts of that,
Yeah.
everything else.
Okay.
And so it'll be interesting for me to see what it comes back at.
Yeah.
I'm very curious about it.
Okay. And that's what I'm asking, because last month, again, we returned some of that expense to the future homeowner, whatever you want to call it, the land. They have to pay a contractor to do it. So, and that's why I'm asking these questions, because we returned some of that burden to them. Are we still getting the money that we've invested in the tap on Mark's side? And is the homeowner still getting, understand what I'm saying?
No, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm looking at the big picture. We return some of that burden to the homeowner, builder, contractor. Are we still getting our money's worth? Are they getting their money's worth? That's what I'm asking. So,
When it comes to the tap fee, no, we're not getting what we should be getting, especially on the sewer. The sewer tap fee is ridiculously low.
How do we change that?
but that's where you just said, right?
Public
No.
hearing. And, well, first off, we need to get the rate study done. I'm waiting to hear
Rate study,
back on
yeah, that's what I
from
said.
2 other people. Well, one, I got word from the other one today that they can't do it, but we need to get the rate study done. And then get actual cost and prices of the materials that we have to use or provide.
Okay. And that would answer basically all the questions I just brought up.
Yeah,
Is that rate study?
you want to be in line with industry standard as well
Yeah.
on some of this stuff and not, a single metro district out here by itself doing its stuff.
Okay.
Um, And I think if you look around at some of the tap prices for some other places, you're gonna be maybe a little surprised. And they do exactly what Corey's proposing. Installation nowadays. City of Durango, as a matter of fact.
Durango, Bayfield, City of Williston. I don't know about Memphis. I don't know what they do.
I don't know.
And
Yeah,
that,
but
but
also
answer
makes-
this question, like you said, the rate study, seeing that information. And just maybe, you said, we go up from there, you have to make adjustments. So,
Yeah,
and I think
this is what you're looking at right here, is a culmination of trying to be able to provide water for construction purposes as well.
Yes.
While people are building a house, because before, you have to be pretty much built by somebody's definition, you wouldn't get water.
no.
In
And
this
there was-
case, if you make that interface acceptable access, so the road doesn't get destroyed, then that infrastructure would be week number 2. They could dig that, we could set it in their tap, they could have construction water.
Yeah.
And for the time that they're building stuff. Whereas currently, that's not an option.
For dust mitigation, protection, even fire safety, really.
And that was my first initial comment, was during a certain period of time. There was somebody arbitrarily saying, you're good, you're not. To people, to homeowners, to landowners.
We had no basic
So-
definition of what
Yeah.
substantially complete meant.
Well, so there were people affected by that arbitrary definition. Is that what you're saying? So. Okay. So we're just discussing this right now because of him briefing.
Yeah, well, we got people,
What, we're gonna go back to that. Thank you, Mark.
After that, the agenda to approve that. So
Yeah. So it's after,
Yeah, you have one more director's report.
Okay.
so it'll give you time. Give everybody time to look over it.
but I'm sorry that didn't make it to the back. I don't know.
No, that's where I saw it too.
I think it was in the first one, but for some reason it's not in the revised one.
Maybe that.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, but it wasn't in there either.
Daryl, roads?
So, we replaced, city normal trash operations / operations. We also continued, cutting washboards down, it's gonna be back the same day that we do it. I mean, it's gonna make it a little less than it was the day before, but, without putting any material down, without putting any mag down and compaction. We're trying our best to cut them down, but it's gonna be back the next morning when you drive back over it.
It's just a dry year too.
It's dry, yeah. Yeah, we replaced skids on plow 2 on the plow. We took down the Christmas lights and decorations off the all stop in the office. We also trained Edward Knox in the event that we need to plow, which this week, I'm sure. While Tim is off surgery. Organized the truck parts and filters in the parts room that we have downstairs. Got that all cleaned up. You can actually find some stuff, and we found some stuff we didn't know we had, so. Serviced up the motor grader, repaired the pockets on the cutting edge. One of the pockets had broken off. We had to re-weld that. We also cleaned the walls and painted in the office and down at the shop. The trim, the ceilings, inside the bathrooms, also installed some cabinets so that they had somewhere to install their utensils and plates. Apparently, we didn't have anywhere for that.
You all been out of the shop and saw how nasty and disgusting it was with the rats and stuff. I would encourage you guys to go down and look at the job these guys did. It looks 100 times better than it did. And we actually got some sanitation going on in there now. Their stuff's in cabinets not being eaten alive by rats or mice.
Why is there such an infestation? Are there holes in the building?
They've kind of dwindled down a little bit. Oh, yeah, there's.
Do we need to stop?
Looking the spot. I've tried putting a couple of them down there, they just keep running away. So.
It's gone.
The bear
It's actually gone kind of better with the dumpsters being a little further away.
That's
And then we've, I don't know how many mouse bait stations we set up in there.
yeah, we've just topped them off the other day too, and they're already about
But it looks a lot cleaner for debris too, like nobody's trying to throw a garbage bag and having it bust open.
No.
Like it's clean down there.
Yeah. Pretty clean. The shop's a little disorganized again, but we've been banging our heads against the wall trying to get the hydraulics to work on the new sander. We finally got that. So,
Okay, that's good. I'm glad to see that you guys are cleaning it up because it was kind of bad for y'all.
I see all all trucks are in good. All service trucks are in good order and fully operational. Plow trucks are operational, except for P2, which we were still in the center on. Like I said, we completed that today. The other trucks, 2 plows are not working on the plow trucks, but they're still serviceable or they're still operable to plow snow. All the equipment's in good condition, operational, and we have 0 accidents reported in January.
When's the new truck supposed to get delivered?
Should be June or July.
Perfect timing for,
Yeah.
because we haven't had snow, maybe it's coming late in the year.
But it is a multi-purpose truck. And it won't be able to use it all.
Nice.
We're Colorado, we could get snow in June.
That's right.
That's the good thing.
We're ready for next
Don't
winter.
snow until I get my roof fixed, darn it.
True that.
Any questions on that? Director?
I had, sorry, I didn't, just one for Mark, I just saw that lower, I didn't know if you could, I mean, just so we know what happened, but I mean, it looks like we got a roughly $10,000 bill for,
Yeah,
curious about that.
It's acts more like, so inside that blower, there's these 3 cylinders that spin around.
And this is that's wastewater treatment,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's what makes all those giant bubbles out there in the pond. And I think that one was rebuilt around 5 to 6 years ago. And I believe we lost the bearing because what happened is that those 3 things came out of tolerance and started hitting each other and started galling and failed. So I haven't ordered a new one yet. Our original search a few weeks ago, put it somewhere between $7,000 and $10,000 to replace. We do have one that was on the shelf that we put in place, and that one's currently running fine. So we have redundancy with 2 blowers running right now. They switch and flop every 20 minutes. We just have to replace the one on the shelf. So
Is that something that could possibly fall into the supply chain disruptions?
maybe, but I don't know. There's such specialty pieces of equipment that, it might be more of a production problem than the supply chain problem.
Okay.
We don't know until we try. I mean, hopefully we don't have any more of those issues. And since I started, stuff's been breaking over there, so.
The reason why we like to keep one on the shelf is because it's a key component. to
Yeah.
treatment.
So we still have to order a replacement,
Yeah.
a shelf item.
Yeah.
Okay, is that something that's been the worst? You said you were looked a couple weeks ago, but is that? in the
Right,
works?
yeah, it's of course giving me the okay to just look for a new one. That one was rebuilt and it only, lasted maybe 5 years.
Mhm.
So I don't have a high confidence. Whoever rebuilt it, it didn't come back like a new one, but
It's already been rebuilt once and rebuilt again, and then odds are it'll break in 2 years.
Yeah, the more times you read that. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, good, Robin? Do you have any questions? Good. All right, we will move on to number 3, financial action agenda, 2024 January disbursements.
This is Julie. I'd like to make a motion to approve checks from January 1st through January 31st in the amount of $110,392.44.
This is Stephanie, I'll second. Approval of checks and disbursement between January 1st to January 31st of 2025 in the amount of $115,458. Oh, sorry, I lied. Wait, let me go back to it. $110,392.44. Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Ron.
And then, before we proceed forward, just a quick heads up. We actually got decent, financials or statements for you, so, not this one, but our next meeting, you'll actually have this in your packet.
Okay.
And it's got the breakdown of revenue earned, money going out the door, what percent we're in. Then we're gonna start, providing this to the board.
Thank you.
And sorry, I
All right,
got some stuff going on.
all right, so we're gonna move on to number 4. Action and discussion agenda. We have Trash Panda recycling contract.
Yeah, so, somewhere along the lines of the transition between, Guy and myself, we forgot to get a contract in place with Trash Panda. So this is ratifying that, and, as per request of the board, we also got the free 90-day recycling, tied into this contract, so just looking for approval for, the vice president to sign it.
Any questions? Are they happy with how it's going recycling?
Oh, yeah.
Trash Panda? Have
I
you said anything?
I spoke to Jeff today.
Yeah.
I believe he told me they've dumped 4 cardboard dumpsters
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
and 3 single stream dumpsters, I believe is what he told me.
And that's a week and a half?
Since they brought it, that was their overall.
Every time I went down there this last week and I'm like, man, this thing is so full, they're gonna have to empty it soon, but they've already emptied it. That's great to know.
But people are throwing
Yeah.
cardboard into the paper one.
I think it was because it was full.
It was full. I took pictures.
I get it, but he said, you know, keep it out there, throw a rock on it, something like that, because that's what they're trying to figure out right now is if they're gonna have to clean and organize and sort all that stuff, then it's gonna be a little more expensive than it could have, so.
And then people are,
Trash?
That does.
Boy,
Okay. But you're seeing it, okay.
But
Hey, you can see that stuff.
see it visibly the trash isn't this quickly.
cause we're getting charged per pull of dumpster 700, right? So that's not like, so if we can get it down, then it could potentially save us money.
Correct. That he was, the guy that does his sorting on the recycling side was quite surprised that there's not a whole bunch of nasty to sort through, that we're doing good. People are rinsing things out. They're not putting things that would contaminate the recycling in. And he said he wants it to be an open line of communication. If he starts seeing things on his end, I told him we can send out a notification. We can tell people, please don't do that. If we want something from him, he wants to know how he can improve on that situation. He wanted to make it very clear that the lids were just temporary to see if recycling was even feasible. Those wouldn't be permanent lids. They would be more for actual recycling, not something that they made in their shop.
I think they're cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I told him. Phil did a really good job on it. But he seemed really excited. And lots of people are participating. And we've had lots of good feedback at the office too. And he wanted to make sure that if people have questions that we couldn't answer, tell them to call Trash Canada. Him and his staff are more than willing to answer questions.
That's how a couple of residents reach out to Trash Canada themselves and.
Yeah.
And neighbors being neighbors, let everybody know, like, break down your boxes, because that is what's filling up that cardboard prematurely. Break
Yes.
down your boxes, clean cardboard, stack it up nice, and we can keep this around hopefully.
Yeah, much
So-
easier to push the flat boxes in the
Yeah.
back of the dumpster. That seems like the biggest problem is that it's hard to get stuff to the far side.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have a question. It seems like we talked about possibly having the recycle in a different location, further out, because you've got people trying to back in to the dumpsters or back pulling in and then backing out, and you're going right into the cars at the dumpster.
Yeah, I thought when we moved the generators, that was the plan to put them over where the generators are. Is that what you were thinking?
Or the middle where the
I think
dumpsters
the
used to
middle's bad
be.
and we have to
Yeah.
drive around it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you were gonna say something there?
I mean, originally my thought was where they're at right now, pretty close to where they're at, because it seems like most people have a pretty good routine. They go down the slash pile, up the slash off. Yeah, it's kind of like a pull-in service, I guess.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
haven't
we
had
could probably
any-
slide them a little
Yeah,
further
we could
down
go
if we need.
Yeah, I think you're saying, yeah, I think I do remember, like, we were talking with them about kind of where we had to sitting, which you guys just. It's kind of where. But they just. A little further that way, but. I mean, I
Is
see
it
what you're saying.
to the trash on the right-hand side where the fire hydrant is? The only reason I know is because that's what I do. I pull in and I don't back in because you either have to do it once or do it another way. So, and there were two cars at the recycle. And I had to go that way out instead of straight out and then turn. It's not a big deal, but it just depends on how many cars could be there at one time.
Okay.
Might be a consideration.
What about the rocks on the other side of it and it all being in that one area? Because I mean, if you're bringing recycling, you're probably bringing trash too, right?
Right.
So what if it was closer to the dumpsters where they're at?
Well, you got the fire hydrant there though.
All right, it's their things, like their hood moves around. They pull that thing out. I'm just trying to make it easy for everybody, so. It
Yeah.
doesn't-
I kind of like where they are.
They're on, yeah. So we have to keep them on, gotta keep it easy for them to be able to pick it up and haul it off as well.
Right.
What's your suggestion?
I was just gonna say, I was there Saturday and the cardboard one was like
Maxed out.
maxed out. And there were probably 7 or 8 people and there was a lot of confusion because they're trying to back up to go to the thing. Other people are cutting in front of them. I also wanted to dump the ash, which is a whole nother thing where that's sitting because it blows all over people. Have you considered maybe like a one-way?
It does get a little busy down there on the side.
Well, it's the big, and especially like if some of the big trucks or the trailers, if they came from the slash pile, because they need some movement, and I understand that, that's a large vehicle. And they're trying to back in, and other people are trying to shoot across, and it's a little.
And I'm not gonna say not to, it's still chaos even without the recycling when you get that many people down there. Even with the old setup, they still got to be pretty clustered on a
I mean, I
Saturday.
can pull the stairs back out.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Ew.
Well, no, I'm saying even with the old setup, it was still pretty clustered.
That was the only place we could do it.
But like
Maybe
they
in the
said,
way
if
it
it
was-
was one way, maybe.
Like a U.
But we would have to be moved. There's 2 buildings there we can't move. One's a well house, one is the other one.
The wall house is pretty, yeah.
We could cut down all the trees down.
Why don't we just push them back like 2 dumpsters down where they are now, but. Cause then people can still pull in, cause you had people backing up into the
Yeah.
recycle bins. which means you can't really do anything anyway until those people leave.
Yeah,
Trash.
Recycle.
yeah,
Yeah, and they were unloading a boat. and
closer
stuff.
towards the generator.
Closer, just down two dumpsters linked to maybe get them out of that way, and people can still go and dump and then dump. Oh,
We'll just get a VMS. Yeah.
Talking to Trash Panda, like you said, getting them down there, making sure their trucks can pick it up efficiently, safely. And yeah, I mean, 100 times better.
Yeah.
So,
And the big thing is we have 90 days to make this decision ultimately.
Well, and maybe-
not less.
maybe to speak to Jack too about making sure he's picking up recycling on Friday in preparation for the weekend when it's busy down there.
So when I told him about the recycling bins, like he was trying to figure it out, we were talking about it. Where he got the idea for the separation bins on there, he actually got that from Grand Junction. And the way theirs is lined up, it's kind of like ours. It's actually pretty much just like ours. You go down to their municipality building, maintenance building, and along that way, the trash is all in one straight line. Everything is all in one straight line. Their slash, their can recycling, everything is all in one line. I mean, we could do that, but it's gonna cost more money if that's the thought that you're thinking.
no, I don't think
Well,
I don't think moving our trash bins or anything. I'm thinking maybe just moving the recycling down
Yeah.
a couple hundred feet.
Right.
But you said there's a road there.
Yeah, and that's.
Yeah, there is a road.
But I think there's still a little more room to move this way, right?
Pretty close.
If the two recycling bins are sitting here and our trash bins are sitting there, if you were to do this, so the back of the recycling bins were facing that would have a place then for just trash and ash. And then people would have to come on the north side of it to get to the recycling.
That would, yeah.
It might be a separation of traffic that you're talking about, if there's enough room to do that.
Yeah. I had actually thought about that too, but
you just said you'll walk down with them. So, okay.
yeah.
Let's go on, let's continue with the action item.
Work in progress.
So
Pretty sweet stuff.
So much better than what we have.
we're seeking a motion right now for the agreement for trash collection, Trash Panda, and the 90-day recycling contract. And
One real quick question, when we get the 90 days, we're gonna have to redo the contract?
Maybe a separate.
No, we won't have to redo the contract. We'll do what's called an addendum to the contract.
just cover recycling.
Just cover it.
And lawyer is the one that drafted it up, so.
And that's what I told Corey. It looks good to me, but the lawyer already approved it, so.
Oh, I would hope so. It's his work.
Yeah. And that would be 4A if anybody's. How you feel about it, but
Sure.
that's 4A. The
This
wording.
is Stephanie. I make a motion to approve the trash panda contract granting Vice President Michael the authority to execute the agreement.
It's Julie, and I second the motion.
All those in favor?
I.
Aye. Thank you, Robin. Motion is approved. Now we move on to 4B. Approval of the service agreement that we were given.
And, don't forget that it's for, public input on agenda items.
Okay.
Please.
So, I have some things, just reading through this, we've got a couple of things that need to be updated. But my biggest question is, so the second page, second bullet. Second sentence at the very end, 4 inch below, just needs a space. And number 5. Where are you?
You move the space,
Yours is different than mine. Minimum of 4 inch below, there you go. Just need the space and then removal of those line there between 5 and 6. My question is, has Paul reviewed this?
No.
So before we can approve it, Paul needs to review it, and the reason I say that is residents are gonna be signing this, and we don't want any liability back to us. He may see something that might not work. So I know you guys want it right away. And, you know, if we need to do an executive session, once he looks at it, then we should do that. It's my opinion.
Probably not a bad idea.
I don't see the need for this to go to Laura's, but you had last year before, it's not. If anything, all we did was take a few. What's the one for spirit?
Verbiage. Verbiage.
Verbiage out of it and amended a few things. I don't.
And some of the asks are per our
For our policy, that's already,
policy already.
well, not this one, but.
But it is a legal document between us and the resident.
It is.
Yes. Which means our lawyer should be looking at those. In my opinion.
So could we go with the condition that it be approved by the lawyer, but we take action tonight?
If you want to spend money for the review, you do it, it's still up to the board.
I mean-
I don't think it's necessary for this document, honestly.
What do you think, Robin?
Based upon what I am hearing, it's probably not a bad idea. I think like the caveat, like what you said, we could go ahead and approve it, but actually have the attorney take a glance at it. And as long as it goes along the same means, then we're all on the same page then.
So I mean, if we have an excavation agreement,
Mm-hmm.
that's been legally approved, right? We don't by, I mean, they like our excavation permit, the people have to sign for it. Right, when they're cutting in their driveways or whatever. That agreement that has not been approved by an attorney, is that correct?
So,
No.
I mean,
Not
I guess
sure.
I don't see this as.
are you talking
different
about
than-
our excavation handbook and our
Yeah,
district rules and policies?
but yeah.
That
That's
has been
been-
reviewed, hasn't it? Yes.
And this is just information off those documents. with
Contained in that, so we're kind of
the
covered
fees
by
attached
that,
to it.
the bases. Were covered, this is just kind of an implementation of what's already been.
Correct.
Yeah, the excavation thing was covered or was reviewed by the attorney, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes.
So
Yes,
I'm
it's
just-
part of the policies and procedure. and bylaws. I thought she meant the excavation permit itself.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess I'm just thinking that if this is included, like you give that handbook out to people when they get this, right?
Yes, we asked them to read, we don't print them for them because it is a rather
but-
large
Yeah.
packet. But they are signing that they reviewed that package. If I remember correctly, that's a bullet point, correct, Corey? That they're familiar with the rules, regs, and bylaws.
Yes, and this just highlights the importance of sections that we need to make sure are being checked.
Yeah.
Like the driveway connection, culvert installation.
I guess that in my opinion is that they are.
So it sounds redundant.
It sounds redundant to me, but
I mean, if still want the board to look at it, it's fine. A motion pending legal review of this passage. Well, I don't have to, we have people.
Yeah.
yeah,
So this, I mean, to me,
like you said, it's a change of verbiage. It's a change that is already, like you said, already been looked at. I guess I would be comfortable voting on this tonight as is.
For the record, I will not vote for it. I think that any agreement or is a legal document and it should be reviewed by our attorney. So that's my vote.
But in part, it has been reviewed, right? I mean,
It's been rewritten, Robin. It's reworded. So things could be taken differently depending on how it's written. That's my opinion. So my vote
well,
is
and
no.
that's why we're revamping it so that it's more clear and we don't have like substantial as the word, like what does substantial mean? Because that has different meaning to many people. So we're trying to alleviate some of that and clear it up and have it match up with what has already been reviewed and accepted. I mean, I don't have an issue with the attorney taking a look at it and saying, yay, you know, or any suggestions or whatever, but I think it's probably pretty close to done.
So on something like this, would the attorney just look at it, say, in the next couple of days, or could this be weeks out? For an attorney, for our attorney?
It depends on how busy he is. If I tell him like I need this tomorrow,
Mm-hmm,
he'll get it to me tomorrow, but
okay. With the.
even I don't need it
Yeah,
tomorrow, so I
okay.
can tell him that.
Yeah. I certainly think I would feel comfortable voting on it. I hear your pregnant view on that, and I just am fine with voting to approve it pending attorney review.
And then that way it doesn't have to come back and then send.
Mhm. Yeah, with, attorney reviewing any, if he has changes, yeah.
Once he approves it, and don't sign it.
You don't have to sign this. It's just you approving the.
Oh, this one, okay, yep, this one just goes right into replace the current document.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
If that's the motion that wants to be made, are there any public comments on this? It is the amended service agreement form.
And it will be attached to the minutes.
And it will be attached to the minutes for review.
Apparently it didn't make it in the packet. Okay.
No comments, no hands.
I don't see any.
All right, anybody? I'm gonna need a motion to proceed one way or another.
This is Stephanie. I make a motion to approve the amended service agreement form pending legal review or any amendments that may come with that.
This is Chris Webb. I second that motion. Improve. Review from, or have the look at it.
All those in favor? Aye.
There.
She's doing the thumbs up.
Yes.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you were near.
Nay.
We will go on to number 4. The procurement policy. Sections 5A, C, and D. The discussion.
So this is something I wanted to bring up because we've had discussions about, well, this contract doesn't need to go to the board, or this doesn't need to be reviewed by the board. It's in our policies and procedures that we do need to have contracts come to the board. And it's listed out C and D. A, C, D. And I want to bring this up because I don't think we need to continue to have conversations where we say, well, this contract should come, this one shouldn't. they all need to come to the board for our policy for approval. That's gonna go along with what we just talked about, similar to having the lawyer. Robin and I talked about having the lawyer looking at all of our documents, what needs to be looked at, and having him initial and date them. I would like to make sure that that also gets amended in our policies and procedures. That way, Robin and I had talked, we know that the lawyers looked at a document further down the road. We know, it. You're not on the board anymore. The next board member knows.
It's already
It's already there. So that's the only reason I'm bringing this up, is to all come to a understanding that this is what our policies and procedures is. And we shouldn't say, well, this contract shouldn't go through the board. This one can, this one doesn't need to, because there's been a lot of vagueness about that. So that's all I was bringing up.
And for section C, I think we need to verify this or clear this. The authority, the district board of directors must approve all awards of contracts for materials, supplies, non-professional or technical services that exceed $10,000. So you want everything to come to the board? Because if that's the case, then we need to take that exceed 10,000 out.
My thought is, if contracts don't come to the board, we aren't gonna know. We need to stay informed. It's about information. And it has nothing to do with you doing a contract or Daryl doing a contract or Mark. We need to stay informed. I mean, we're making decisions and we need to know what's happening in the district. That's basically my whole point with this. So
I'm not real sure. Sorry, I was just thinking like professional or non-professional. And part of my thought was like cleaning service. If they're cleaning like the porta johns or like outhouses and stuff, I kind of felt like that's not really something the board needs to approve of. Now, if they're cleaning our offices and stuff where we have secure items and stuff, that might be something that we would support in reviewing. So I was a little bit different on that, because does that make any sense?
Yeah.
it does, but then
So what are the SDA guidelines? I thought they had like a general guidelines for that.
I'd have to look it up.
I can't.
I'm pretty sure it's pretty similar to what we have written here, I think.
That's,
I'd have to look
that's
it
what
up
I
too,
was
but
about to say is I thought that the basis of that procurement policy was pretty in line with what SDA suggests.
And so like less than 5,000, the open market, that would mean like you don't need to go get bids.
Exactly. And then when you go between 5,000 and 50,000, you have to get at least excuse me, comparative pricing or go out for an RFP, one or the other. If it goes over 50,000, then it has to go through what's called a competitive bid.
Seems reasonable, right?
Yeah, that's reasonable. I mean, I just don't want to see us get into a situation where somebody challenges something and they say, well, was the board aware of this? Well, no. No, we went ahead and did this, and then the board doesn't know, and look at the documents we're having to look at and approve. Why would we not want to see contracts that we're
$100?
doing on behalf of the district? Doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be approved. Maybe Corey's worked something out and he's got it all set and, worked through. Mark, Daryl, there's no money involved, which is what Corey's concern was. If there's no money involved, why do you have to know? Well, we should know.
not what my concern was.
Yeah, if there was no money involved in a contract, then you should have the authority to go ahead and do a
I
contract.
don't have the authority to sign contracts is given to me. And I wouldn't enter into a contract without bringing it to the board. Unless it's under $10,000 and it's a one-time. Hey, Badger, I need you to come clean out 6 culverts for me. We're having a flooding issue and it comes under $10,000. That gives me the authority to do that. We'll have to bring that to the board. Excuse me.
So, Julie, is it you feel that staff should be completely transparent with the board? It's not necessarily an approval process. It's a, hey, this is the direction that we took. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not necessarily you want these procedures in here to change, but even if Corey has the authority to enter into an agreement with someone because it's less than 10,000, you want the board to be aware of that.
Correct.
So that
Yes.
could be,
Okay.
that could be like an, maybe a part of his report.
Management.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you don't think
That
it
sounds good.
necessarily, it doesn't have to happen first. He still has his authority to make some of these calls, but then you want the board to be informed that that was the decision made.
And I typically send out emails when I'm looking at something, when they send me a proposal, I'd send it out.
And I think transparency is what we keep saying,
Oh,
and it's
absolutely.
not transparent if it's only sent to the board and it's within, if it's not within our meetings.
Okay.
So you said that much better than what I was trying to say. So, yes.
So make sure that not necessarily just transparent with you guys, but that it's on public record, whether that's in his report or a staff report.
Yes.
That way it's public record and we're being completely transparent with the residents.
Yeah.
I think that's what he's saying as well. You were just both saying it differently. Yeah.
So are you still fine with that last sentence, Steve?
Number one,
Yeah.
the 10,000. I mean, it's been an agreement that we all looked at and already approved, so, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just concerned,
No,
you know, that we don't know, we may not know some things that are going on in the district. And I think it's good for the board members to know.
and I think like we touched on in the past too, like this isn't, I know you're not targeting Corey, but this is something that happened in the past. It could be something that happens in the future, so open transparency. I think is always a good thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you saw it as a board member, you know, in the past, so.
Yeah.
You're a winner. You better be.
Yeah.
And I mean, just here recently with some of the things that Corey's trying to get quotes for, I mean, we're chasing people to give us quotes. Or some people just say, no, I don't service your area. I'm sorry. Sometimes there's even as much work as he's putting in trying to gather 3 quotes aren't coming in because they don't service our area or we're too far out or, oh no, we have too many clients. So he is putting lots of effort in to try to follow that policy. I think there just needed to be some clarification in how the information is handed to the public after the fact.
Yeah.
That happens frequently with stuff like this blower that we were talking about. There might only be one company that makes that blower.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna get 3 quotes.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but. what
Yeah, it's a
I'm
great
saying is
example.
It's put in, they were put in there, you know, years ago.
And
he only wants to.
that's where that sole source clause comes from.
Yes.
Okay.
Any public input on that? Good. You feel comfortable?
Yeah.
All right, item 4D, grant funding update.
Yeah, so as I was actually looking at some federal grants, I got a lovely email. No, just discussion.
It was just a discussion.
Uh, with our current administration, they have froze a lot of grant funding. Some of which are still going. They sent out a 52-page Excel document. I was gonna put it in the packet, but the way they did it, you have to really zoom in to be able to read it.
It's formatted awful. Literally.
Probably on purpose.
Yeah, so I'm still digging through that, so I don't know the extent of what grant funding is still available and what's not.
And that
Current,
may change, right? Because some of that stuff is on in a legal battle.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, it's been walk over.
I've been trying to keep up with it, but
Changes daily.
currently one of the grants I'm looking at is through the Southwestern Water Conservation District. Now I got confirmation that it's still good to go. And that'll give us, excuse me, if we get awarded it, will be $60,000 towards the drain outlet on the dam for engineering and planning. So that'll help eat some of that cost. Not gonna cover it all. Currently, I am also going to a conference in April. And hopefully I'm gonna be able to find us a Colorado grant writer, not one from California. Cause I reached out to her and yeah, she's pretty much useless.
So April, you're going to it.
Local,
Yes.
Yeah,
more
April,
familiar with the state would be great.
more familiar with our state and our rules and our laws and more of the grant opportunities we have in Colorado. Cause there are state grants we can go for too. But currently, kind of, everything kind of on hold at the moment with the current administration.
So, reading through this water district conservation, said that they still are okay with this because their agreement says that it all had to be submitted by August 15th through November 7th, 2024. And then
This is one that's already been started.
this grant's already been started.
Yes,
Okay.
But they do have another one coming.
there's another one coming. This one's already been started. I'm currently waiting on
Okay, so this is the 60K for the debt,
if we win it.
if we win it. Okay, so I misunderstood.
Okay. That's clear on that. This one's already started.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
In progress.
Anybody got any comments on that? Public? Otherwise, Robin shaking her head no. Social media.
Well, I put this on here just so we can discuss this as far as how we respond on social media. However, we had a resident write to Corey and say she would like to be a social media FLMD person to, well, that's what she was alluding to. Right.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saying no.
Yeah. So she was suggesting, because as we know, a lot of younger people are starting to come into the neighborhood and that's what they look at is social media. So my thought on social media is we always need to send them a link back to FLMD. Corey has tried hard to try and give information and some of the residents have misunderstood it and then given information out to residents and it's not correct. So I would like to see us try to only refer them back to the website with a link, not try and correspond with them because some of them are mistaking it. Or they don't go back up through the thread and read everything in there. They're only seeing what the last person may have complained about. So that's why that was on there. And then he got an email about social media and wanting to have a social media website. We've talked about it before. What are your thoughts about having a Forest Lake social media one-way page for those people that are looking for social media? And only referring links, you know, having this basically the same thing you do on the website, but it would be, here's the link to the website. Come and look at this, you know, sign up for this. Might reach more people, I don't know.
So I'd like to speak just because we've kind of talked about this before and I was really stuck on, can we at least give the website a period to see?
Yeah.
I think we've done that. And I think we still tell people, please subscribe. That's how we're getting the information out. But one post that Corey made generated more likes, comments, and feedback than we did in a few months of the website.
Right.
And the lady who said some people are just never going to go to the website, she's not wrong.
Yeah.
Some people are just never going to go to the website, no matter how much we push it. I am way more comfortable with having a Facebook page that we run than having someone volunteer from the community to run, because I'm afraid that it'll still be with their spin on it versus directly from the district.
Yeah.
I can get behind that. And if it's just the same information that we're putting out on the website, not much more than that, it wouldn't be a burden for office staff to do that.
Yeah.
And we can even go as far as turning comments off, so people can't do comments.
Yeah, comments have to be.
Right.
They don't have to be on.
Well,
They
most of
have to
the
be
districts.
they have to be left alone or off or left alone.
Yeah.
If you allow comments, you can only remove the ones really
Yeah.
derogatory.
I just know all the
Downright
other districts
racist.
have theirs off.
And that's what SDA,
Yeah.
that's their recommendation, is you have it for information only, no comment section.
Yeah. We could do like Trash Panda, give it a 90-day trial and see how it works. And if it's popular and you're getting maybe more hits, if sign up for notifications and
Yeah.
how many people sign up for it?
And like I said, I can get behind that. I feel like we've given the website its fair chance, and it is getting more attention, but there's still a population that's just never going to go there.
So you'll still be maintaining the website, but also doing Facebook.
Yes.
That won't overtax you guys. You're good.
No, but we can set up most of them. Barb, myself,
Yeah.
and
Between the three of us, and that's one of the really great things about Corey is he really will jump in there. He's not like, oh no, I'm the manager. That's not really me. Here you go, ladies. He really will jump in there and do his share. So I don't have a problem with at least trying the Facebook page. If it's a flop, at least we can say we tried. Yeah, I think anything we post on the website, we post on the Facebook page.
That's the majority of people are getting their information from social media, so we shouldn't be.
but I do need some clarification so I don't get myself in trouble. Stop responding to other people.
Well, I mean, use what you guys are saying, social media, and we don't have an account. Are you guys talking about like?
The Neighborly Forest Lakes website.
Okay, neighborly.
Yeah.
I feel like a good response to the email that you received, maybe to ask her to control a little bit of the misinformation once it's corrected in response to the community member that emailed you. I mean, to me, that's like a just private social media post that's you are allowed to do. So, I mean, and it just happens to be you're the district manager, so. No, I'm just saying, like, so about the roads thing, when there was false information put out, it was corrected. People still, like you said, they see that whole stream and they don't necessarily see Corey's response. I would respond back to this lady and say, once it's clarified, that's where you could help out the district and the neighbors by saying, hey, this was clarified. The post is gonna be removed in whatever, shortly. On your side, is it just gonna be Facebook? Are you gonna do next door? People like,
Well-
sometimes people are never happy. And
Oh, absolutely, and I'm telling you right now, I'm not doing the next door up. I tried it.
Twitter,
I don't like it. I'm not doing
I'm on
it.
Instagram, I'm on next door. Like, you can't make everybody happy. So we're just,
I would
Website,
say,
Facebook. And then if you guys wanna post, if you guys are on the Nextdoor app, you guys can handle Nextdoor app.
Well, you have to look at restaurants. Most restaurants and businesses go to their Facebook page and it gives information, it gives, you know, whatever. And it is a Facebook page. It's not X or whatever all those other ones are, you know, it's a Facebook page.
See Mark had a water break doing an Instagram post.
we can make Robin in charge of the community page.
Bad idea, bad idea, bad idea.
That's what, so I still like now with the new website, the ability to send out messages that we have now, emails, text messages, like at first, when I joined the board, I was all in favor of the Facebook page. We spent good money on a really good website that sends out really efficient messages now.
But we're only getting
Yeah.
100% of the people.
155 subscribers since July. And I think that we don't stop pushing the website.
No, we're just gonna still keep pushing the website.
We're never going to be able to get a direct notification in someone's hand on Facebook. I mean,
Yeah. Right.
you know what I mean? It's there if you look, but I think we still really, like Julie said, we post links that direct them right back.
Go ahead. No, your opinion matters.
I'm just confused because it keeps sounding like we're going back and forth. We're doing our own Facebook or we're doing.
We would have our own.
Keep going.
We're gonna create-
Neighborly.
It would be a professional
Okay.
FLMD Facebook.
That require daily selfies of you in a truck or next to a tree. If you're comfortable with that, both of you.
Yeah.
To me, you guys are comfortable with it. Like I said, my opinions change because we spent a lot of money on a good website.
I mean, I've been trying thinking we should have had social media, Forest Lake social media without the comments for ever since I went to the SDA. I was like, I mean, we're like the only district that doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we were the only district in the room that day that didn't have a social media page.
I mean, it's the way of the world.
And I've had to come to accept that. Like I said, I was hesitant.
Yeah.
I feel like we gave the website our best shot.
Another means to put out information, pertinent information to get to people.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be selfies and all this, so.
Yeah, but it does reach a different group of people. Some people are still looking at the message boards the mailboxes. Some people just look for it on their bills. Some people go to the website and some people are Facebooking.
Yep.
I'm in favor as long as once in a while you still throw a message up there about signing up for notifications
Will do.
on a rotating basis, you know, and
Yes, sir.
push that, you know, that website, we paid them good money, so.
Yeah.
It's on you guys, I think, at this point. Robin?
I got one response on my question.
Which one?
Am I still allowed to correct information on the
Absolutely.
other one?
That's outside of With Forest Lakes.
No, it's, you doing it at the representative Forest Lakes, and if you're comfortable responding to other posts, clarifying them on the neighborhood, on the freedom, on the all the different Facebook pages.
Yeah, kind of along the lines
I'm
of
okay
just
with
the
that.
fact,
Yeah.
like, this is the fact.
Yep.
Not a name.
Oh, yeah.
Fact
Yeah.
checking.
Keep it professional.
And that's where I think we could, like I said, reach out for a little assistance on, once it's clarified, could those posts be removed on the other page?
I'll reach out to her.
Yeah. Because some people just, I'm not pointing fingers, some people just want
Because
conflict.
even though we start our own Facebook page, they're gonna take the information off there and they're still gonna push it to the.
And that's up to you if you wanna respond.
And again, Julie's done it a good job of responding where necessary. I've done it a few times.
Sorry, I guess I need to read it.
It's just one of those, it's
Sounds
good to
interesting.
clarify and it's good to redirect. Like you guys have done, so. That's my opinion.
Yes. Sorry, I'm making fun of Robin.
Yeah.
You can still challenge meet people at the flagpole at 3 o'clock.
So one other thing that I'd like to add, correct me if I'm wrong, Julie and Chris, but SDA, they said if you have a Facebook page or social media, you should have a policy
Yeah.
about those things as well.
Mhm.
So I
Yeah.
put something else on Corey's plate for him real quick, but
Yeah, good point.
Any public comment on that discussion? Don't see anything. Okay. Discussion on formatting FLMD documents.
So I'm just bringing this back up, kind of regurgitating it again, but, what Robin and I had talked about, having the lawyer initial, we said initial, and date the documents that he's reviewed. So we all know, we don't have to ask Corey, new board members come on, they know that the lead. The footer, yeah, just like we do have asked for the revisions at the bottom of the documents and the dates. It's just, lawyers, it's not gonna take him anymore.
I would think that a lawyer should be doing that anyway. I
Yeah,
mean, that.
or signing it, initials, I don't know,
Mhm.
what do you?
Yeah, I mean, they usually just have like a little version thing at the bottom that's easy to, that actually automatically updates for them.
Yeah,
So
I think it'd be good, and I think residents can see, hey, this has gone through legal review, or if we need to. And we don't know what happened 2 years ago. When the other district manager was here, what was looked at, what was reviewed. Same when Keith was here. What was reviewed, what was, did it even go to the lawyer? And probably a lot of it didn't.
Well, I guess I'm gonna need some guidance on what needs to and what doesn't need to go to the lawyer. On that subject as well. Cause some things I don't think need to go to the lawyer, but you guys may think it needs to. So.
FLMD documents pretty broad.
Yeah.
So, but you're saying like if it has gone to the lawyer, just a quick like little signature block saying reviewed legally, right?
Just the ones that I send to the lawyer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a little SOP that's the way it's gonna happen. If we're paying for him to review it, just a little tiny statement reviewed by Paul.
But you bring up a good point. Maybe we need to have the policies and procedures manual with what the lawyer needs to review, what types of documents. Cause it is pretty vague, Chris. I mean, for now, I guess we could just have him do it and then we could work on an amendment. I don't know if it's a resolution or an amendment or
Have
what.
Corey do it or have him decide what needs to.
Have legal review.
Well, Paul's already looking at a lot of these documents and we're having to ask Corey, did he review it? And in meetings before, you know, like last month, he said, and the lawyers looked at all of these. So it's just, if he has, he just should put his
Some
signature
sort
on
of
it.
documentation out.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be an actual signature. It's like a DocuSign thing. It's just, it's at the,
No,
it's
yeah.
in the footer. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like just a part of the document. Anytime he's reviewing it or revising it, it's automatically updated.
Just so you know, if you're looking through stuff, if Paul's seen it.
Right. Well, and we know we're all looking at the most current version, I think is also part of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, that's for the attorney to do. Are you talking about every Forest Lakes document to have that on it in the file? Or just what the attorney is?
What he,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
what is going through attorney review.
I guess no change other than
Whatever. Into the law.
whatever's sent to them, just.
So if it's just for clarification, an in-house document that Corey or I or Barb or Mark and Daryl work on, no need for a revised on date or anything like that.
Yes, that's, yeah, we had talked about that before, always having a revision date.
Okay, so you want
On everything.
okay, not just ones that are being reviewed.
No, all the documents will have the revised.
Revised date
Only documents that get sent to the lawyer for review
will have his stamp of
His
whatever. Okay,
Yes.
sounds good.
Any comment,
Robin?
public? Robin?
No, it sounds like you've got it covered. I like it. Sounds like it's clear.
Good for it?
Yeah.
Anybody else? So SGM proposal for community center?
Yep. So, they gave me a proposal to come out and do a structural condition assessment. Kind of like the DNA report that Dan Naaman did for us, but this is gonna be a little more in depth on if we need the timber A-frames or if they can go away. What we need to do on the inside to make it ADA compliant and all that good jazz. If we decide we want to keep the timber A-frames, if we have to, then we'll get a degradation testing.
That's pretty much.
You're talking more like repair and those, yeah. Cause those are what's holding that building up, those A-frames.
Not necessarily.
No,
No,
Those
there's
posts?
structural beams inside of
the ones they added.
There's footings and foundations on the walls.
Yeah.
It's whether the walls are capable of holding the structure.
Well,
I think they're gonna clarify some of the information that we go
it's gonna be, you just fix this, and you're golden, or they're gonna tell us you just need to wipe it off the face of the earth.
So that we can stop going back and forth. Right. So, yeah, speculation.
They didn't give us a price on the testing for the degradation yet. Cause we don't know if we need it. So in the motion, I looked up online what it did, it's anywhere from $100 to $600 a sample.
Yeah.
So I said not to exceed 15,000.
Okay.
Which is in our budget. We budgeted 50,000 for the community center this year.
So, this, you said it's how much, 100 to 6 ballpark
100 to 600 per sample.
per sample, which would be each A-frame.
Or wherever.
If we do each A-frame.
Yeah, I think you would get, just looking at one of the ones that looks good and one of the ones that looks bad. I don't think you would have to do every, I wouldn't think.
I wouldn't think you have to do all of them. And
You
even
get a
if
general idea pretty quick.
they test one and it comes back absolutely gotta go with them, what's the point in testing the rest? Cause They all look the same
Or
at the
if they're
bottom.
not structural, we might not even have to do the testing on
Exactly.
those pieces of wood that are rotting.
And you said
Right.
15,000 not to exceed?
That's what I said in the motion.
Yeah.
So, question then on the structural condition assessment, give me 3,700 lump roughly, or is that his,
That's the fee.
that's the fee
They should not exceed that unless they come across some
to do S2?
crazy thing that's in there and they wanna do some other testing. And then that would be a change order. Which would need approval.
That's why you're saying up to 15,000.
The 15,000 is for the
Just this.
these two items combined. And I believe that's how I wrote it in the motion.
Yeah, you did.
So if there was additional costs outside of these two tests, it would need to come back.
So let's say it comes back and, like, we choose to move forward, we can move forward based on this assessment. That recommendation from him as far as start lining up people for.
I would have to get quotes and
Yeah,
do
yeah.
the process and then.
But this is gonna be.
This is the
a
start.
good starting document to move forward, no matter what direction.
This with the DNA report we already have.
Okay.
So then. This document is covering their fee, but then we have to get people to come out and look.
No,
Sorry, I'm
this-
confused on the whole process.
They have an internal structural engineer on staff.
Okay,
This is what's gonna cost for SGM to come out and do this project.
just, okay. Okay,
That's the 3,750 is the cost of the assessment.
yeah. So all this, the exclusions, they would not do, this would be based on us getting people to come out and do something. I'm just curious.
Yeah, SGM has just given us the structural. Is it worth saving or?
Yeah, they're not gonna do as-built drawings for it.
Right.
They're not gonna do regular scheduled meetings because it's not required for this.
So right now, it's just gonna cost $3,750, $3,750, and then depending on how many samples we take.
If we take some.
If we take samples. And you have it not to exceed 15,000 for your motion.
Yes.
And this is just to look at the building to see if it's worth fixing, basically.
Yeah. I'm just curious, so if 15,000 is too high, because if it's only. If it's a small amount, like you said, do we wanna? I mean.
Well, that 15,000 also includes this stuff on that. So
Yeah.
you really only have 11,000 for.
Right, and
The-
after the
the-
first stuff, they might say, it's not even worth doing the additional degradation and rot work.
Yeah.
Then we're paying $3,750 and that's it.
And we have a final answer.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And it's not a blank check up to 15,000 that you're handing.
No, no.
So you're in charge.
No.
As
They'll
the
send
as
us-
needed amount.
They'll send us an invoice for this, 3,750. If we go into the testing, they'll send us another invoice for that.
Okay.
Based on your.
Then from there, we go to drawings and.
They're not gonna do us as
Then
built
get into
drawings.
the big bucks.
Yeah.
Any questions, Robin?
No, it sounds like it's moving forward potentially, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
We need the baseline for sure.
Yeah.
A lot of what the DNA report had was a lot of cosmetic stuff with some structural stuff in it.
Yeah.
This is just solely, this is what you need to do to make this building safe.
This is more realistic.
Or it's safe, you just need to worry about cosmetics.
Yes.
They were like vague on the structural stuff.
It was very good.
Any
Okay.
public input on this item? No? Okay, I need a motion one way or another.
I'd like to make a motion to approve SGM's proposal for the structural condition assessment, degradation testing in the amount not to exceed $15,000.
This is Stephanie. I will second the motion to approve SGM's proposal for the structural condition assessment and degradation testing in the amount not to exceed $15,000.
All those in favor?
Aye. Sorry, that was also Julie that made the motion.
Michael is an aye, Robin's an aye. Okay, now we will go to the board director reports. Request for future agenda items. We'll start with the budget committee.
I don't have anything. I think it's good that Corey's gonna be giving us a report now and really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Recreation committee, just the information Corey already sent out an email. We will touch base with those people in the community that have not received that email. So we'll get that clarified and hopefully schedule the next meeting. Personnel.
Maybe we should specify that the emails did change, like Shauna said. Some of Corey's are coming across possibly with spam. So check your spam folders if you're not receiving those, or junk.
I'm gonna send one out without my signature and see if that's the issue.
I
Might be.
possibly send it in the group.
No, I'll send it out to a group.
Yeah, but we have an icon where we can put the group us. I got it.
But Michael got it too.
Yeah, but you get email from me on a regular basis, and we're on the same platform.
So I received it as spam. I said it was okay, whatever, moved it to my inbox, approved it. Then I got a notification that the image displayed in this email is potential, whatever it says. And I approved that image. So again, just check your spam, otherwise we'll look at. I'll respond to that one tonight and see if it will capture some of the other members, so. Personnel committee?
The review was done of the district manager and looks like we're still moving forward. It was a 6-month review and it was successful.
Yeah.
Chris?
I was just gonna add the 2 new hires that Shauna had. How many employees are we at?
And we're at 10 full-time employees and 1 part-time and 1 as needed.
1 tip.
Temp, yeah.
On call.
Doug
is part-time.
Fantastic job.
Yeah.
It's gonna be busy soon.
He takes a lot of pride in his work, just talking to him.
Speaking of that, what are we gonna do with all the ash pile? The ash mountain.
We will be moving it this summer. If you can click on new fresh stuff
I
in.
know.
But I can't move that without knowing that 100% certain that there's no ashes in there. I mean, no injuries in there.
Good idea.
Every time he gets a chance, he sneaks down there. and throws something. Yeah.
It's great.
I think
And
he
nice
likes
job to the
her.
employees.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody's doing a great job.
Okay, well, the time, anybody else? Robin's clapping, Robin is clapping, ready to go. It is 2029 and we will adjourn this meeting.
I understand what you said.
Yeah,
I can subtract 12.
Bye, Robin.
thank you for showing up, Robin.
Listen to
Well.